Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Ben 10 Omniverse served as the fourth and currently final iteration of the original continuity for Ben 10, and it really saw everything come together for the character. One of the things that I absolutely loved about Omniverse that didn't really happen in the prior two sequel series in Alien Force and Ultimate Alien is that Ben had access to his entire roster of aliens. Everything that he's unlocked all throughout the original series, Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, is at his disposal in Omniverse. It made sense when Alien Force came around, given the plot and narrative direction that they took with that series, that Ben didn't have access to his prior aliens from the original series. It was Ben's reset. He reset not only as a character, but the Omnitrix itself reset. He lost access to his prior aliens and got a brand new roster of aliens to use at his disposal. Then obviously as Alien Force went on, we saw some classic aliens return, and when Ultimate Alien came along, it really showed that Ben now has access to all of his aliens, at least in the intro. In the series itself, we got a lot more aliens than we did in Alien Force Return, but his whole roster wasn't being used. It was at his disposal, but he was using them sparingly. Omniverse, on the other hand, decided to be the ultimate iteration of Ben 10 in that he has access to every single alien he's ever had before, and we see this throughout the series with every single one of Ben's aliens being used during the run of the show, except for 4 of them. This is a topic that has been discussed a lot amongst the community, that Jetray, Fasttrack, Chamalien, and Spitter were never used by Ben in Ben 10 Omniverse. Their omission is pretty jarring, especially given that the finale of Omniverse shows Ben go through every single one of his transformations except for those 4. So why is it that Ben 10 Omniverse never showcased Fasttrack, Jetray, Chamalien, or Spitter? This show was a culmination of everything that came before it, but those 4 aliens are a jarring omission from the series. Well, we actually have an answer to this question. So the reason why Jetray, Chamalien, Fasttrack, and Spitter were never in Ben 10 Omniverse was revealed to us a few years ago by the late Derek J. Wyatt. I can't find the direct quote here, but I mentioned this in another video before, that apparently the reason why those 4 aliens weren't introduced in the series is because the executives over at Cartoon Network essentially went to the people working on the show during season 5 and said, hey, you guys have way too many aliens in this series. We do not want to see any more aliens introduced in the show after season 5. That is why after Galactic Monsters, we don't see any new aliens appear in season 6, 7, or 8. How cool would it have been that during the finale of Ben 10 Omniverse, you know, the culmination of the first 4 series of this franchise, Ben unlocks this uber powerful alien? No, we didn't get that because the executives basically put their foot down and said no more aliens in Omniverse because you guys have too many. For me personally, this makes absolutely no logical sense to me at all whatsoever. The whole thing with Ben 10, the whole reason why it's as successful as it is financially, is because of the toy sales, right? Every time they introduced a new alien, that meant more money in their pockets because they would make a new action figure of that alien and kids would rush to their local Toys R Us or KB Toys. Those 2 stores are a throwback for us 2000s kids, and they would rush there to go get these new aliens. Like, I remember as a kid, I was on vacation and I ran to a Toys R Us that I happened to stumble across, and I saw there's a new alien called Upchuck on store shelves. What is that? I remember I picked it up and I immediately went back to the place I was staying and I called one of my friends at home and I said, hey dude, I just went to Toys R Us with my mom while we were on vacation and I saw a brand new Ben 10 alien on the store shelf. And he's like, no way dude, what was it called? And I said it was called Upchuck. I actually have it in my hand right now. It's this little green alien that has a squiggly tail on it. And he was like, that's crazy. This hasn't even been introduced in the show yet. And I remember being so stoked as a kid that there's a new alien coming to Ben 10 that I discovered on a store shelf. Like, this alien hasn't appeared in the show yet and it's already being sold for kids to buy. And believe me when I say this, that I am not the only kid who was excited over this. Like, this was a thing back during the run of the original Ben 10. So I just don't understand the logic behind the executives saying, hey, there's too many aliens in Omniverse. Like, that's the whole point of this series. That's the whole point of a creature series in general. Like, think of a creature collection series like Pokemon. There's over 1,000 of them. That's the entire point of that franchise. The entire point of it is to keep introducing more Pokemon because that drives more and more sales. Ben 10 is very similar in that regard. While not on the level of Pokemon, not having, you know, nearly as much financial success as Pokemon has, Ben 10 is still pretty successful in its own right. And obviously Ben has a lot of aliens at his disposal, and that is something that kids and fans of the series looked forward to seeing. Hey, what new alien is Ben going to get access to this week? I remember every single week as a kid watching Ben 10. particularly during Omniverse. I remember every Saturday morning when that show was on the air, I would watch that episode and anticipate and be excited for a potential new alien premiering in that episode of the series. I remember it during Omniverse, and that one episode we got with the prison break, the name of it is escaping me right now, but Ben had like 4 aliens introduced in that episode. It was Pesky Dust, The Worst, Molestache, and I believe there was Kick and Hawk as well introduced in that episode, and I remember how stoked I was as a kid seeing that we got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 brand new aliens in Ben 10 in a single episode. I remember after the episode ended, I was rushing to Wikipedia, the Ben 10 wiki, to see more about these new aliens because I was so stoked to see that 4 new aliens were introduced into the series. What I'm trying to get at is I feel like it was a misnomer at the time for the executives to be like, hey, there's too many aliens in this show, because that's what makes Ben 10 Ben 10. The whole juxtaposition of this superhero Ben is that he can transform into a bunch of different aliens. That's the whole point of this series. That's the big money maker for them. And essentially you decided to cut out what makes the franchise midway through season 5 of Omniverse. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's really a shame that Chamalien, Jetray, Fasttrack, and Spitter never made official appearances in Omniverse. Thankfully, Derek J. Wyatt actually, before he passed away, released publicly the designs for those aliens had they appeared in Omniverse. I've covered that in another video before, but I'll throw them up quickly on screen, and at least we know what they would have looked like had they appeared in Omniverse. But still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, this was the culmination of Ben 10. This was everything that's come before it, all coming together in one new series. It's really a shame that the executives had to meddle once again with this franchise and pretty much prevent us from seeing those final 4 aliens within Omniverse. Like, it would have been so cool to see not only those 4 aliens appear in Omniverse, but what other new aliens Ben could have potentially gotten in season 6, 7, or 8. Unfortunately, the executives had to meddle with this franchise once again, and we never got to see Jetray, Fasttrack, Chamalien, and Spitter appear in Ben 10 Omniverse. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the logic here when it comes from the executives saying there's too many aliens in Ben 10 Omniverse? We do not want to see a single new alien introduced in the series for seasons 6, 7, and 8 because it's becoming too confusing. There's just too many of them. Are you disappointed like me that we never got to see Jetray, Fasttrack, Chamalien, and Spitter in Omniverse, or could you care less? Did you agree with the executives and think that, yeah, there is too much in this series, let's tone it down a little bit? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.